Hello, everybody. This, as you may tell from the title of this deck, is a spreading the word deck revolving around fresh cut grass. Now, I have to admit, when I played this at my locals, I didn't ever actually win with spreading the word. And the reason is that my opponents would destroy their stage and attempt to keep it under 10. So it's pretty hard to win with this way, but you do win by eventually killing them once you have 20 foundations and they're still at 9 foundations. So in a way, spreading the word is contributing to winning the game because your opponent is too afraid to build into deadlock because of your spreading the word combo. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go over the attack lineup. In order to make it more consistent, and get off spreading the word more consistently, we're running a few cards that build it into our stage. So Net Launcher builds it into our stage, and importantly builds the opponent a foundation so that we can have another foundation to put a pamphlet counter on. Another thing we're going to do is play Canister Creation Strike, which can remove a 1 diff and turn it into a pamphlet spreading the word foundation. We're also running Spirit Gun Mega, which can discard a card to fetch any card, which could be a spreading the word. And we're running another card that synergizes really well, One for All Full Cowling. When we commit spreading the word, we've committed it this enhanced step, so we give it 2 speed, then we ready it again, and we can play it again on our next move. One thing that we do need to be a little bit careful of is fresh cut grass readies anything, even if it has been readied already. So you want to be readying the spreading the word with this and then using fresh cut grass on a different move. One more thing we can do is use Falling Heel Strike to unflip our spreading the words if they ever get flipped. And then Dragon Strike doesn't seem like it synergizes much at first, but what you can do with Dragon Strike is flip their destruction outlets or something that's going to hurt your spreading the word combo before it can actually counter the pamphlets. Last card is Rejuvenating Smash just because it works so well with Fresh Cut Grass. The real strength of Fresh Cut Grass is when you play your high difficulty attack, you're going to be committing some foundations and then you can immediately ready them up with Fresh Cut Grass. I think Fresh Cut Grass is actually going to be playing some of those Titan attacks very well because of this ability when Attack on Titan comes out. But for now, playing a Rejuve on a 6, committing 3, and readying 2 of them feels really, really nice. One more thing we're doing is we're running Wound Restore. So the other thing Fresh Cut Grass does is it allows you to pick up spells from the discard, and Wound Restore is just the best one. Wound Restore is just a crazy card, just gaining 5 health. Because it's a first enhance, you can use this and then Rejuve Smash on defense, which is pretty crazy. Saying your opponent has to deal 39 is in a way a form of defense, and then saying now with 4 wound restores that your opponent has to do 59 is just an insane amount for your opponent to chew through, and some decks just cannot do that. There are so many games where I might take a huge damage move and I'm still in it because I can wound restore back up to full, and then they have to essentially kill me again. Onto the foundations for our spam, we're just running 3. Now, what I do want to say is we are researching the answer deck, so that's, again, why we're running a lot of 1-ofs. So for our 0 diffs, we're running these 3. Now, I could have run more. I think I probably should have included some more 0 diffs, but the reason we're not is because we're a 5-hander, and 5-handers don't draw as many cards, so they don't string out and build a ton of foundations as much. Now, the different thing about Fresh Cut Grass is the fact that you're not really a 5-hander, and I'll get to that in a bit, but for now, just 3 of these foundations. These are just good block mods. Keeping Ares safe is just a great card. And then we run 1 high-value target, 1 taking the gloves off. This is just, again, synergizing really well with our spreading the word by being able to flip our opponent's destruction outlets when they commit them, or just any of those really impactful foundations that we might want to flip. 3 number 7 Pro Hero. Now, number 7 Pro Hero is just a great card because you can ready it with Fresh Cut Grass, so it really lets you dig a lot, and when you go to 0 cards in hand, you can just draw 1 for free, so I think this is just a great card to be running 3 ofs, even though we are a Researching the Answer deck. 1 Fast Friendship, 1 Resting Up, and 2 Genkai's Training. Genkai's Training was overperforming for sure, but again, we're a Researching the Answer deck. and then one trickster, two trickster's blessing. Now the trick with this card is that it is a spell, so we can pick it up with fresh cut grass. Honestly, I never really used this that much. I think this is a good foundation to cut, or maybe go to a one of on. Steadfast Resolve, a great destruction outlet. Size Specialist, a really great card. Honestly, just so strong, and the fact that you can keep building it back in is really nice. New Training Method is just another excellent card. We have so many different one of foundations that we might situationally want to pick up with this when we check them. Childhood Friends, just because a lot of our cards share two symbols, and we can pick up an attack at the end of our turn this way. Particularly, Spirit Gut Mega is a great one to pick up, or a Rejuvenating Smash is another one that's really nice to pick up. Two incredible displays. This is really nice for chain blocking with our low block mods, and just a great card overall. 4 Air Force Style. Now, Air Force Style is strange at first blush, but actually it's insane with fresh cut grass. Now, the thing about fresh cut grass is after you compliment your rival, you ready one rival in your rival stage, not as part of the cost, but as part of your effect. So actually what you can do is you can snipe one of your opponent's committed foundations, readying it, and then shuffling it back into the deck with Air Force Style. That's a really strong effect. Now, the one thing I do kind of regret, or there's a little bit of anti-synergy, because you do want your opponent to have 10 foundations so you can put pamphlet counters on all of them, and this is getting them farther away from that, but it's still just such a great card that I think you have to run it as a 4 of in this particular deck. The other way I like to use Fresh Cut Grass as a side note is if your opponent is already all readied up, then this also, you don't have to ready anything because it is part of the effect, and if you can't do it, you just don't do it at all. So this is really nice on their first attack when they didn't commit anything to play their first attack, and then you wouldn't even need an Air Force Style. One Finally Awake. Now this card is actually better than it seems, because of the fact that you actually want Blood Evaluation to be committed a lot of the time. There are so many situations where you need to commit Blood Evaluation so you can ready it and draw cards, and Finally Wake just does this really well, and most of our moves are highs and mids, so it also gives us that bonus +1/+1, which is really nice. We have one Sing For Me. Now, Sing For Me is nice just because it is a way to gain more health and draw cards all at once. I think this is pretty underrated because gaining health is really good. 2 Keiko's Aid. Now, honestly, this could be higher. I guess it's just not because it's just so hard to find room in this deck for all the cool cards we want to run. And our 2-diff lineup is kind of squeezed, kind of short by spreading the word. So some of these other cards I just prioritized over it, especially since we're a Research the Answer deck. I then run 1 Shameless Haggler. This card is really good at enabling our rejuves and also just gaining more health and cycling more. 2 Wild Wild Pussycats. This is a great card for making us not a 5-hander, just getting more foundations so we can build out. And then this is the star of the deck. This is what makes Fresh Cut Grass viable, in my opinion. Without this card, you're not even like a legitimate character. When you have Blood Evaluation out, you become, each copy of Blood Evaluation is 2 more to your hand size. And the reason is because you can ready it on your offensive turn, and you can ready it on your defensive turn. So this is drawing you 2 cards per turn cycle, which is just ridiculous. It is so much better than commit to draw because you're readying it. So you're just incidentally drawing. And it also has an insane enhance where you can discard a momentum to ready it, which does come in handy a lot. So this is just an insane card in this character because we get to ready it, and then sometimes you actually want to check badly so you can commit these and then ready them on your first attack. It's that strong. One other thing we're running is A Sun's Love, just another way to give us an extra hand size. We are a 5-hander, and this makes us not a 5-hander. That does cover the main deck. Now in the side deck, we're running 1 Ruthless Mockery. Actually, this side deck is very fake. This is not really a side deck, so I'm not really going to cover it. I guess the only real card here is Faith's Shield, just because Faith's Shield and Mashos just for anti-throw, which we definitely don't need, and Mashos to take out those decks that are running a lot of powerful enhances in their foundations. So yeah, that's the deck. In terms of the distributions, here it is, 64% foundations, 28% attacks. This is kind of where I like being. Oh yeah, I should, Yeah, I would say one thing that I would say about this deck in general is that this is a very slow, methodical deck. You're not trying to kill your opponent very quickly, you're trying to slowly distribute pamphlet counters onto everything on their stage so that you win via this alternate win condition. So for that reason, I think 28% attacks is totally fine. We're not trying to kill them, but we can, like, you do eventually get there, especially if you're giving everything speed with spreading the word, making them hard to block. You're just going to chip them away until they die, which is oftentimes how this deck wins, because again, your opponent can just destroy their own foundations with pamphlet counters on them if they really wanted to. So this is just the easiest win condition to play around of all time. It just basically means that you don't have to run Deadlock. We're not really running any Deadlock in this deck, other than Dragon Strike, which actually is a very good Deadlock because getting that momentum is always nice to have, especially with Blood Evaluation. But yeah, I would say that this is basically, you could consider it a piece of Deadlock in itself. Um, and then in terms of our difficulty, yeah, we do have a pretty greedy foundation lineup with not a lot of low diff foundations, but again, our high difficulty foundations are so impactful and so strong. I mean, all of these foundations just seem so good that it's just hard to make a call on cutting them. I do think that this deck could be trimmed a little bit just so that you see your blood evaluations more frequently. Um, then again, you do want to make room for your wound restores and your Eden box. So going a little bit over 60, we're at what, 70 cards in the main deck is okay, just because that way our ratios aren't off by having too many wound restores in the deck. Um, there's not much else I want to cover about this deck. So yeah, this is a really fun one, a really slow one. You're maybe gonna get some draws on this deck just because your game one might not finish. So yeah, just be aware about that before building this and familiarize yourself with it a little bit more. But it is pretty strong actually, just because you're very unkillable. A lot of decks just can't handle the combination of just building a ton of cards, just constantly drawing cards and constantly blocking, alongside just having essentially 59 health to chew through. Just makes this character really, really hard to kill. Anyway, that's all for now, so thanks for watching.